I read an extra book for full Moon Readathon because I'm a crazy person.
Just get the boy, puppy, let him.
The big one so I can beat somebody up with it, like Dread and Nihilist.
He's so cute.
Got lots of books here.
It's creepy.
It's just been so humid. This is definitely a slow burn, I would say.
Hello. This week I am participating in Jen Agaton's Full Moon Readathon. In this readathon, you can earn 4 different cards, and for each card there is 2 prompts, 2 reading prompts, and 1 activity prompt. So there are 4 cards. There is a goblin, there's a grim reaper, there's a zombie, and then there's a spider. And I think the first card I'm going to be trying to earn is the spider, and the reading prompt for that is to read an 8 book, which is to read any book that has an 8 in it, like 8 letters, 8 words, 8 books in the series. So for that, I'm going to be reading Wild Side by Elsie Silver. I needed a little bit of a break from more serious books, and I thought a love story would be great. So I'm going to be starting to read this, and then I'm also going to be reading Such Lovely Skin at the same time. This is the same author of The Mean Ones, which I loved. So, and this is actually on KU, so I'm going to be reading it on my Kindle. So that's going to be my Kindle book for now. And then this will be for a different card, but I'm going to be starting this on audio because I need an audiobook for when I do chores and things around the house. And I forgot to say I'm reading Such Lovely Skin for the spider card. Second prompt is a book that's creepy, and I mean, look at that cover. It's creepy. Okay, so I have an update for you on Wild Side. I'm on page 131, which this is a long romance book. It's like 440 pages or something crazy. If you can hear the air conditioning, I'm sorry, but it is hot today, so I'm not turning it off. Anyways, this book is in Elsie Silver's Rose Hill series. It's the 3rd book, and I've read all of Chestnut Springs, and I really enjoyed all of Chestnut Springs for the most part. I gave them between a 3 and 5 star each. So I continued with this. I have yet to start her the first series that she did. I'm going to be reading these as they more closer to as they come out. So the next one I think comes out in September, so I wanted to read this one before then, so I'm all caught up. I just need to go back and read her first series. So this is a romance series, I'm sure you all know. There's Tabitha and Reese, and Tabitha has a sister who's an addict, and she has a young child, like a baby in the beginning, I believe, and she's living in one of Reese's properties. I guess he's a wrestler, but he summers up in Canada, so it's sort of near-ish to Rose Hill, and his tenant is Tabitha's sister, who is the addict, and her son. And Tabitha basically asks him, like, if she's ever late on rent, if things seem off to you, let me know, please, pinky promise. And then the story really begins 2 years later, after the sister has passed away, and they're trying to figure out custody of her little boy. And she had written a will giving Reese full custody, and said a lot of things about her family that were not pleasant. He grew up in the foster care system, so he's like, no, I'm gonna raise this little boy because this is what she wanted. And I haven't heard such good things about her family. But then he sees the little boy with her family and realizes, like, he doesn't know the whole truth, and they both kind of have to get each other to come out of their shell and learn about each other and figure out how they're going to raise this little boy. I'm really liking it so far. I like that it has real life problems in it that they're trying to solve. And as of right now, I mean, there's really no romance going on, like just some very anger, hate flirting, I guess, so far. So I'm about to head out for a run this morning. I haven't run the last 2 days because it's just been so humid. It's still so humid. But I'm going out, and it'll be what it'll be. And I'm going to listen to Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb and get a little bit more of that done. I've been chipping away at it a little bit every day, starting yesterday. So only 2 days of chipping have been happening. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get that run done early this morning before it gets even hotter. Got to page 87 of Assassin's Apprentice on my run. I was listening to it, and poor Fitz is already going through it. I know he's got a lot to go through. I know it's a tearjerker, heartbreaker kind of a book, so I'm only a little bit of the ways into it. This is like an epic fantasy series by Robin Hobb, and it follows Fitz and his life as a bastard son of a prince, and he basically gets taken under the wing of the palace and the keep and is trained up to be an assassin. And I'm just getting up to the part where he's just starting to train as an assassin. And he's still a kid. He's only 10, I think, as where I am right now. So I'm liking so far. Robin Hobb in the past, during the pandemic, a friend of mine loaned me the Soldier Son trilogy. It's funny because the Soldier Son trilogy is one that a lot of people don't read, and it's what I started with randomly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this. Yep, I'm going to be chipping away at this all week. It is the second day of the full Moon Readathon as I am recording this. And then I haven't read anything today physically. It is already after 10 o'clock in the morning. I dropped off my daughter. She's going on a day trip to an amusement park. And then later I'm taking my son and a friend to the climbing gym so we can get some climbing in today. And I need to continue this, but I'm kind of in a more like spooky mood right now. So I might switch to Such Lovely Skin. In this, like, they just got married. Reese is an American citizen in Florida, so, and he has the custody of Milo, and if he were to leave Canada, Milo wouldn't have anyone who is a custodian over him, so he might get put in foster care instead of like live with his aunt and have connection with his grandparents. So they end up getting married, which it is on the back of the book, but I don't always read the synopsis. I didn't actually realize that this was like a fake marriage of convenience type of trope, but I am liking it because their banter is so good. So they kiss for the first time at the wedding, which they didn't even practice. I would have been nervous about that, and I still think Reese is, at this point, still living in her unfinished basement. I could not live in an unfinished basement. Oh, my basement is unfinished. Living down there, would be, no, I couldn't do it. Too many spiders. Too stinky and moist. I made it to rock climbing. My son kicked me out. I asked him, I said, do you want me to stay? He's like, no. So I'm in a car. It's hot, so I have to leave the AC on, and I'll turn it off periodically, but I'm just gonna sit here and read. I got to page, let me see, update you, 123 of Assassin's Apprentice on the way here, listening on the audiobook while we were driving, because the boys pretty much just ignore me the whole time. Well, Fitz is still going through it. I think that's just gonna be the update every single time. Fitz is just, he's going through it. His keeper won't even let him bond with an animal because he has some magic in his blood that lets him see through the animal's eyes and bond deeply with animals, and he doesn't want it was forbidden at a time, so he doesn't want him to do that, so we let him like have like an deep bond. Then he and poor Fitz, he just wants to bond with his puppies and he can't, and it's sad. And I just get the boy puppy. Okay, so a little disheveled, poorly lit update. I am about, let's see, 321 pages, so I've got a little over 100 pages left of Wildside, and I am still really liking it. The main character, Tabby, she found her sister who passed away's journals, and so she kind of was reading through those and finding out some things that she told her that weren't necessarily true, making her think differently about Reese. So that was interesting. And also Reese just continues to be a little teddy bear. A big teddy bear, as the case may be. I'm about 200 pages into Assassin's Apprentice. And going good so far. You know, Fitz is off doing his first assignment and has seen some sad realities of royal life and war times and hard times so far. So this is going well. And then I hit up the library. I took the boys out to lunch and then I dropped them off. I hit up the library and the local indie, and now I'm making dinner. So I'll show you, I have a little book haul. So at my indie, I picked up How to Survive a Horror Story, which I was looking forward to reading and had it on hold at the library, but decided just to pick it up because it'll take a while from the library, and I think Gabby has this as one of her books. Gabby reads that she's reading for the book troop. Picked up the new Chuck Tingle. I have enjoyed Camp Damascus and his other newer one as well. I liked them both, but they weren't like 5-star reads for me, so I'm going to try this one and see how that goes. The other two that I have read from him have been 3.5, 4 stars. And this came in, not from my local indie, this was delivered today. I've been looking forward to this one. And then from the library, I picked up The Love of My Afterlife, just because for a silly, goofy love story time when I'm in the mood for it. And then I also picked up a backlist book, The Bright Lines by John Frank. It is almost 9 o'clock at night, and I'm looking a mess because I'm in bed. I am ready for bed. It is only 9 o'clock, but that's bedtime for me. I have to wake up at 6:30 tomorrow and get out by 7:30 for my long run. It's 10 miles tomorrow, which for me isn't that long, but these days it's a long run. Last weekend I did 14, so I'm stepping it back this weekend. So I got about a little less than 100 pages left in Wildside, so I might try to finish that tonight. We'll see if I could stay awake. Usually I feel wide awake and the 9:30 hits and my eyes start to close, so that may be the case. If that's the case, then I guess I'll have to finish it tomorrow, but I was really hoping to finish that today because I still have not finished a book for Full Moon Readathon, and it is day 2. And for me, I usually have a book done by now, but that's all right. 186 pages into this, so I still have quite a bit to go, because this is an epic fantasy. But tomorrow is a very busy day, so we'll see how much reading I get done. I have to run to come home and shower, and then I have to take my husband's car in for an oil change because it's due, and I have to come home to get changed. I have to get my daughter and make sure that she's ready to go. She's 11. And get her and a pool bag ready to go. Pick her friends up. They're twins. And then we're going to go to the campground where my parents are camping and go swimming in the pool. Then I have to come home, get changed again, going out to dinner with my dad and my son and his friend. We're going to go get steak. He's treating them to steak dinner, a nice steak dinner. And then we're going to a baseball game. So it's going to be a long day tomorrow. And my husband at some point also wants me to go pick up some rice for him because I burnt the fajita rice today. I forgot to turn down the burner on the rice. So it burnt and I didn't realize it because I was doing a million things. So I have to go pick up some more rice because he's going to have those leftovers tomorrow. It's 6:30 in the morning and I'm ready for my run. The sun is just now rising. I'm watching it rise before I go run. Last night I did end up finishing Wildside. I slept on it. I think I'm going to give it a 4.5. I really liked this, and I do think that it came close to a 5 for me. I still think that Elsie Silver books are just a little long. I feel like, 400 and almost 50 pages for a romance is a little too long for me, but there was stuff going on in this where I thought it was valuable to have a little bit more length to it, so I'm not going to take it down too much for that. I'm going to give it a 4.5. I really loved Reese and Tabby's relationship together, and the wrestling stuff really isn't for me, but I loved how supportive everybody was of him. And I thought it was great. So yeah, I gotta give Wildside a 4.5. And that's the first book that I've finished for Full Moon Readathon. Yay! I also got 20% into Such Lovely Skin. And it is creepy for a young adult horror. So that's great. I'm enjoying it. Doppelganger type stuff is kind of freaky. Have a basically copy of you out there doing things that you wouldn't do. So I'm looking forward to getting more into that today. After my 10-mile run, I got out early. My alarm just went off on my phone as I'm sitting here in the car because I randomly woke up at 5 and decided to get my butt out of bed and just get this run in because it is a really, 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 really busy day today. So.
Also pitching on behalf of Prince of Media, it's Reagan. Nicely done. Emma, picture. Please welcome once again Miss Connecticut herself, Kayla Kumar.
Some pictures. And I don't know what I'm going to read next because we are leaving tomorrow on a little few day trip out of town with the kids. We're going to go to Kalahari Resort, which is like an indoor water park like Great Wolf Lodge, but we think it's better, at least the Great Wolf Lodge we have been to before. We do think it's better than that one. So we're going to go to that as like a last hurrah before the kids have to go back to school. So I don't know how much reading I'll get down there. I think it'll be quite a bit, actually. I usually have quite a bit of downtime because there's only so much time you could spend in an indoor water park. But they have fun. It is the 4th day of the full moon readathon now. I am 80-something% through Such Lovely Skin by Tatiana Schlotté-Bonnet. I think that's how you say it. I'm trying my best. This is a video game young adult horror about a girl who thinks she's being stalked, but it seems that someone is masquerading as her and, you know, wreaking havoc in her life. And so far, I mean, I'm almost done. And I do think it's a very, very strong YA horror. There's definitely some pretty gruesome and cool adjectives and scenes used in this book. I think it's definitely a strong debut and a strong young adult horror. I think I'm going to end up giving it at least 4 stars. And I do think that this author is one to definitely watch for. I really, really enjoyed Mean Ones, and I love the covers and the artwork. So I would recommend checking her out if you're interested. And then I actually was able to finish The Assassin's Apprentice. So this is for a different card. I think I'm going to do the prompt of a book you could use as a weapon because it's a longer one. It's almost 500 pages long. So I did finish this, and it's about a bastard of a prince, and he goes through a lot of really hard times, and he learns like 2 different kinds of, well, he's learning one kind of magic, and his teacher's a total asshole, of course. And he has this other kind of magic where he can bond with animals, which I think I already talked about. So anyway, I finished this one up. It's definitely setting up for the second book. Epic fantasy. I try to read one every month. I think I'm just going to at least I think I'm going to give this 4 stars. There's definitely a lot in here, and I always enjoy the character development. I love how Robin Hobb just seamlessly does the world building in here along with the story. You kind of learn as you go. There's not a lot of info dumping, which I do really enjoy that. So I officially finished Such Lovely Skin and got my spider card. The last activity prompt was to just treat yourself, and I've treated myself plenty this week. We went dinner out last night. We went to Chili's with the kids, and I also bought A Game in Yellow by Haley Piper. And as a final update for Such Lovely Skin, I think it's a really great young adult horror. I loved the themes of guilt and grief and the battles we have with ourselves as we get older and try to discover who we are and who we want to be. There's definitely some really gruesome imagery and scenes in there that I really, really liked as well. It doesn't hold back. And then I failed. I did not vlog the rest of Full Moon Readathon. We took the kids to Kalahari Resort, so I didn't actually end up vlogging at all, but I did end up reading a lot of books, so I'm just going to talk to you about them here real quick. The spider card, which I finished with Such Lovely Skin and Wildside, and I gave Such Lovely Skin 5 stars or 4 stars, 4.5, and I gave Wildside 4 stars. I also wrapped up Assassin's Apprentice with you guys in the vlog, and I ended up giving that 4 stars, and that was for the Grim Reaper's weapon. And because it's a big one, so I can beat somebody up with it. For the other one, for the Reaper card, I read A Short Stay in Hell on our trip. And this is by Stephen L. Peck. And this is a short novella. And it involves a Mormon man who passes away. And he thinks he's going to go to the Celestial Kingdom. And instead, he finds himself in hell. And his particular hell is
a almost infinite, nearly infinite library where every book that has ever been written or could possibly be written has been written. So like there'll be a book with just all A's in it and then one B, or a book with his name repeated a million times, and he can't get out of hell until he finds the book that has his life story with no changes or edits in it, his actual life story. Basically a near impossible task. So this is called like an existential crisis book is what I've heard, dread and nihilist, and it gives you a lot to think about, and I absolutely loved this. I gave it 5 stars. I read this for the second Grim Reaper prompt, which involves death, because he died. The activity prompt for the Grim Reaper was to be dead for a while and take a nap, which I do that all the time. For the goblin character, I read Yellow Wallpaper on my Kindle, and this is like a super short story. I guess you'd call it a short story. I don't think it's long enough to be a novella, but it's a classic about a woman who has a baby and then is accused of basically losing her mind, and she is put on the rest therapy and trapped in a room by her husband because he says she just needs to rest and recuperate and get better. And the wallpaper driving her even more crazy because it's a pattern and it's just ugly, and all she has to do all day is to stare at this wallpaper. I found this story to be really compelling, and I really, really enjoyed it. And then afterward, I kind of looked up some information about the author and what her experiences were, because I guess she is fighting against this rest therapy. You know, having women who are depressed and anxious and locked in a room all day and told to do nothing is not helpful. I thought that was very interesting, so I gave that 5 stars. For the prompt, and that was for the ugly cover with intriguing premise, because the cover is just the ugly yellow wallpaper. And then for Trickster, we'll probably have a plot twist. I read Girl A. Yeah, Girl A by Abigail Dean for the Trickster prompt of plot twist. And that is a thriller, I guess. It's about a family of kids who escaped but were very severely abused. And it's called Girl A because she was the oldest girl and she's the one that helped them escape. They were chained up in a basement and had horrible things happen to them. And it's about, after their mother passes away in prison, them dealing with the house and kind of going through what happened to everyone. And there is a plot twist in it. I thought it was kind of dumb. I only gave it 2 stars. And the House Goblins activity prompt is check one thing off your to-do list. And I completed all my kids' back to school paperwork. And if you have kids, you know that back to school paperwork can be really annoying. So I got that all done. So I was happy. I'm just now really realizing that I think I read an extra book for Full Moon Readathon because I'm a crazy person. I read Lover Eternal, but I'm now realizing that I didn't use it for any prompt. I don't know what that was about, but I read Lover Eternal. This is the second book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. It was written in the, I think, early 2000s, and it's paranormal, smutty, somewhat, I guess it is, romance. And it's a vampire series, and there's these vampires that help protect the vampire species because they're a separate species. It has like a little bit of like mafia vibes, and there's this group of undead slayers that are attacking the vampires. The vampire, the main character in this one is Rage, and he was cursed by their religious figure they call the Vessel Virgin, I think that's what they call. Oh no, the Scribe Virgin, not the Vessel Virgin. That's something else. And have this beast in him that can come out. So he's been cursed with that. And then the woman in this is Mary, and she has been battling her own battles with cancer. And they fall in love, and it's what happens there. So I always think these. Well, this is only my second one, but I think these are a good time. I gave it 4 stars. I always find them to be just a goofy, silly, fun, nostalgic for the, early 2000s paranormal romance time. And I will definitely be reading the next one. So for the final card of Full Moon Readathon, there was 2 prompts, and that is the zombie. And one was a slow burn pace, which I read Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil for. I did the audiobook mostly, but I also brought this with me so I could follow along. This is definitely a slow burn. I would say if you like gothic, fiction, if you don't mind a slow burn, if you like vampires, I think you would like this. I mean, everybody says it's about toxic lesbian vampires, which I guess it is, but it has a couple of different characters and point of views in it, and a couple of different points in time. Obviously, they're vampires, so they live a long time. And there's a character in the beginning who thinks her only lot in life is to have to get married. So she marries someone she thinks is decent, but doesn't want to have babies. So she goes to this witchy person and ends up getting turned into a vampire. And it's about her life and her choices that she makes throughout her life as a vampire. And then there's also a character from the more recent past, or 2019. So yeah, not too far away past. And her name is, let's see, Alice. And Alice has a one-night stand and wakes up not feeling like herself. So you're following what happened to her and why. And there's also another vampire, and there's a couple other vampires in here as well. I don't want to give too much away, but it's a book about relationships and immortality. And I really liked it. I thought it was really good. It kind of reminded me a lot of Interview with the Vampire, because you're kind of getting a vampire's life from before they turned into a vampire until present, at least one of the characters. And I thought it was really interesting, and I liked it a lot, and I gave it 5 stars. For Bring a Book Back to Life, TBR vet, I could have just kept Lover Eternal and done that, but apparently I thought I had to read another book. So I read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is supposed to be a House of Usher retelling. I've actually never read the original House of Usher. I've read a lot of Edgar Allan Poe in high school because I loved crows and macabre things. So I did read quite a bit of Poe, but I don't think I've ever read the House of Usher. So this is about a person who hears that their friend or past friend is sick, so goes to this creepy estate to try to figure out what's wrong, and discovers things. I don't want to give anything away. I kind of was spoiled for this a little bit before I read it because it had been on my TBR for a long time, but I really did like it. It's very atmospheric and creepy, and it really gives you the sense of the setting, which is kind of more like a character in itself. And I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 stars. So that's it. I completed all 4 characters for the full Moon Readathon. I've got lots of books here that I read, and I definitely read a lot during that time on vacation because the kids were doing their own thing and we had a lot of fun. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, please give this a like, a subscribe, and comment down below. I would love to hear what you read for Full Moon Readathon, and I will see you next time. I've got some things in my brain that I'm thinking of doing soon, so I'll see you then.